Hi guys, welcome to the Smiling Professor. My name is Bukola, and today in this video we're going to discuss how you can apply for a postgraduate program, specifically masters. We're also going to discuss how to write a personal statement when you're trying to apply for a master's program. And finally, we're going to discuss scholarships that are specific for master's program. So before I start this video, I would like to say that this video is based on my experience and that of my family and friends in gaining admission to different universities. So it might not be the same for everyone. So my advice would be to check the specific requirements of the country you're applying to. But to make this video, I spoke to a couple of my friends from countries such as Nigeria, Ghana, UK, US, Canada, and also Germany. I chose this topic because this is the most question I have received since I started this YouTube channel. So most people have sent me this question by email and also by DM. So I decided that it would be best to make a video addressing it. A brief recap on my educational qualification. I have a PSc in chemical engineering. I also have an MBA in management. I am presently a PhD researcher, and my PhD focus is management science in a science-based industry. So I've divided this video into 3 parts. The first part would be factors to consider before you apply for a master's program. The second part would be how to write a personal statement. And finally, I discuss scholarships. So guys, I've noticed that some of you are actually watching these videos but you're not subscribing. So guys, let's have a deal. So just click the subscribe button. I'm going to wait. Give you a few seconds. Click the subscribe button. I'm waiting. Thank you to those of you who actually subscribe. So I'm going to start with factors to consider when applying for a master's program. So the first thing first is, why do you want to study a master's program? So you have to answer this question within yourself. What is your reason for wanting to study a master's program? Because you have to be very careful. Don't rush into studying a master's program because masters could be very expensive, especially if you're planning to study abroad. So you have to answer the question within yourself. Why have you chosen to study a master's program? Secondly, choosing the course you would like to study. So are you going to continue with the line of your undergrad? Are you going to do something totally different from what you've done from your undergrad? Are you also going to choose a course based on your career path or your future plans? So these are questions you have to answer within yourself when trying to choose the course you would like to study. Thirdly, do your different research on the universities you're interested in. Find out how much the program is going to cost. Find out the location of the university. Also find out the international students review on that particular university. In general, when you're trying to do a master's program, it's just best to do as much research as you can. Fourthly, do you meet the requirements of the course? Because some universities require you to have a certain grade from your undergrad and also have some work experience. So you have to check if you actually meet the requirements of the course you're aiming to apply for. Also, what are the application fees? What are the deadline for the application? Another requirement you should also check is, when is the course start date? When is the course end date? What are the living expense? Some countries such as Canada and UK might actually require you to take an IELTS test. So these are the requirements you have to check for. The next factor to consider is, are you aware of the fees? Because most universities expect you to pay application fees, also pay your tuition, your accommodation, and they have a particular amount for living expenses for international students. So these are factors you have to consider. So would you be self-funded or do you intend to get a scholarship? The next point to consider is visa limitation, because most countries have limitation to study visa. So as an international student, you're only allowed to work a number of hours per day or per week because they don't want your work to interfere with your studies. And also some countries limit the kind of jobs you can do as an international student. It's also good to consider the location of the university. So where is the university located? What language do they speak? How much would your travel expenses be? What is the culture within where the university is located? You can always do your research on this topic. And finally, what is the cost structure of the program you intend to apply for? Because there are different types of masters, and I'm only going to give example of a few of them. So there is Masters of Arts, which is an MA. There is also Masters of Research, an MPhil. There is Masters of Science, an MC or an MSc. And there is also Masters of Business Administration, an MBA. So you have to check the course you're applying for. What is the cost structure? So I'm going to give an example. So with an MPhil, there is normally a taught portion of the program, and there's also a significant research portion of an MPhil program. With an MSc, most times there are taught portions of the program. There are also seminars and some laboratory work. With an MBA, which is what I did, my school had 2 semesters of taught courses, and they gave us 4 months to either do a research, which was a dissertation, or do an applied business project. So my school gave us the option. So you have to check the structure of the program you're applying for. So now let's say you've considered all these factors we've discussed and you're ready to apply to a particular university. The next step would be to gather your documents and contact the university as soon as possible. So the documents you will need to gather includes your previous qualification, your degree certificate and transcript, reference letter, personal statement, and for masters in research you might be required to write a research proposal. That is, in my opinion, it's always best to get an academic reference and a work reference or a job reference, because it shows the university that you have both academic experience and also a work or a job experience. It's also good to apply for more than one reference in case one of the referees don't get back to you. After gathering these documents, it will be best to contact the university admissions office as soon as possible. So now let's discuss how to write a personal statement. So personal statements are very personal, but I'm hoping by discussing these questions and highlighting some pointers, it would guide you on how to write one. So first thing first, you would have to draw on the reason you chose this course in particular. So did you enjoy your undergraduate course and are you hoping to increase your skills? Or do you need this particular qualification for the job you're hoping to apply for? Or are you hoping to expand your knowledge on a particular field? It's important to take your time to answer this question because this might be the most important answer you would give and it might determine your acceptance. Remember to write something very unique to yourself. Please don't go online and download a template and just copy the template, because universities are actually looking and searching for something that is unique to yourself. Remember that universities will be judging your language, your ideology, your punctuations and your use of grammar. The next question you should try to answer is why you've chosen this particular institution. So you can talk about their facilities, their reputation, their history. The next point is you would have to illustrate your academic and your technical skills. So when you're writing your personal statement, you will have to articulate properly what technical skills and what academic skills are required for this course and highlight how you have already acquired them, either through your academic experience or through your work or job experience. You would also have to state what you're hoping to achieve at the end of this program and how this fits into your future goals and future plans. The next question to try and answer is what sparked your interest in this particular subject? So I'll give you an example. As most of you may know from watching my videos, I've always been interested in business and management. And while working for a multinational Coca-Cola during my undergrad, I was working in the quality control lab. I kept wanting to know why the managerial decisions were made. So these are the points I articulated in my personal statement. I would say you should try and avoid I've always wanted to do this as a child, because this doesn't sound very unique. It sounds more like wishful thinking. You should be able to articulate your interest in this particular course. The next point is what experience do you have in your chosen field? It's important to highlight your experience in this chosen field. If you don't have any experiences, it's important to tell them what sparked your interest. So is something happening in your community? Did you read a particular journal? Did you read a particular article? So what exactly made you interested in your chosen field? So for me, during my chemical engineering degree, I was on a work placement in Coca-Cola and I worked in a quality control lab where we tested the product against the company's specific standard. But while I was doing my job, I was more interested in knowing why we're producing one product over the other. What was driving these decisions? Why were these decisions being made? And these are the points I highlighted during my master's personal statement. I also stated the fact that I have run different businesses over the years, even while doing my undergrad program. So I try to articulate this very well in my master's personal statement. The next point is what is the overall reason for choosing this course? So what is the overall picture, the scope of the subject area and how it relates to the real world? You have to show the university that you've done your research and you know the practical application of your chosen course. So my final advice for personal statements involve, if you're applying to more than one university, ensure you don't copy and paste your personal statements. Make sure you're writing something that is very unique to you and the course you're applying for. So now let's move to the points where you've made your application and you've been accepted into the university. So upon acceptance, you'll be required to pay a deposit of your tuition fees, and after paying this deposit, for international students, a certificate of acceptance will be issued to you called CAS, and this is the document that you would use to apply for your visa. Without this document, your study visa will not be granted to you. So now let's discuss scholarships. With regards to scholarships, some universities actually have some internal scholarships. This is something you should put an eye for. And some governments also offer scholarships. You would have to do research in your country to check what scholarships your governments might be offering. For Nigeria, I know that there is PTDF scholarship, there is also the state scholarship, and there are some federal scholarships. And in Nigeria, we also have companies such as NNPC offering scholarships, and some multinationals including Shell and Chevron. Some scholarship actually comes with conditions. I would say please do your research to understand the requirements of the scholarships and the conditions of the scholarships. Usually the process of applying for a scholarship are similar. You have to have a good grade. It doesn't have to be a first class in particular, but you have to have a good grade. And scholarships also have deadlines and other requirements. This is something you have to do your research into. The documents usually required are university certificates and transcript, motivational letter, English proficiency test such as TOEFL, IELTS, or bachelor's in English. Sometimes you require reference letters, and you would also require your passport. An example is Erasmus Mundus scholarship. It's open every year for a wide range of programs, from business to environmental programs. It's applicable to both developed and developing countries, and this scholarship actually covers tuition, monthly stipend, and mobility from one country to the other for both your first year and your second year. The link to this scholarship is below. There are also various master scholarships you can apply for. At the top of my head, what I can remember is Shivling scholarship. You also have the Commonwealth scholarship to study different programs in the UK. You also have the DAD scholarship in Germany. There is also the Norfolk scholarship in Netherlands, and there is also the Master's Card scholarship for the various countries. I think you have to just do your research when it comes to scholarship. The link to all the scholarship I just mentioned is below and is showing now in the screen. For some scholarship, you apply separately to the school and then you apply to the scholarship foundation, but most of them, like Commonwealth and DAD, you apply to the school and indicate that you want to be considered for a scholarship. Some scholarships are also targeted towards bachelor's courses such as DAD and MasterCard. All the points we discussed today and the links to all the scholarships are in the description box below. I'm also thinking of discussing topics such as how to apply for a PhD, how to write a research proposal, the step-by-step process to apply for a scholarship, how to write a motivational letter for a scholarship. If you're interested in these topics, please let me know in the comment section below. My contact is also down below if you would like to reach out to me personally. So I would like to say thank you to everyone who subscribed to my channel so far and has taken the time to comment on my videos. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, please consider subscribing so you can get weekly content from me. Also like and share my videos. See you next week. Bye guys.